Hello movie and TV fans, tonight we're breaking down the top 10 wrestling matches of 2024. It's not a topic I always cover, but I got interested in wrestling a little bit more this year. So I'm going to take a look at the 10 best ones that I thought, the 10 best ones I should say, of 2024. So with that, let's dive into number 10, the Outrunners versus Orange Cassidy on AEW Collision. Outrunners versus Orange Cassidy is a match that just screams fun. For that reason alone, it earned its spot on this list. This wasn't a match built on emotion or some deep storyline, it was just pure entertainment. And sometimes, that's all you need. The Outrunners, who were on the verge of blowing up, brought their goofy stage comedy-style wrestling to the ring against Orange Cassidy, who continues to perfect the art of laid-back brilliance. Result? Magic. It was goofy wrestling at its best. Pratfalls, missed elbow drops, and Orange Cassidy's signature, lazy offense before making his big comeback. There are plenty of serious matches on this list, but wrestling isn't always about taking itself seriously. This match reminded me why I fell in love with wrestling in the first place. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor and check it out. It's only about 10 minutes long, but it's 10 minutes of sheer joy. And if nothing else, this match cemented my love for Orange Cassidy. It also opened my eyes to how fantastic the Outrunners are. Two guys who totally understand the lighter, goofier side of wrestling. Mark my words, they'll only get better in 2025. My personal wrestling bucket list? Forget having a match with them. I just want to stand in their corner, cheer them on, and dress like them. Number 9, Sami Zayn versus Gunther from WrestleMania 40. At WrestleMania 40, Sami Zayn versus Gunther gave us a match that felt timeless, and I couldn't keep it off this list. Gunther had been running through the entire roster for 666 days, racking up an Intercontinental Championship reign that felt untouchable. Then, there was Sami Zayn, the ultimate underdog, the scrappy babyface that fans couldn't get enough of, and when those two elements collided, pure magic. This match was a masterclass in storytelling. Gunther dominated for 80% of it, throwing everything in his arsenal at Sami. But then, as Sami does, he rallied. He fought back with heart, grit, and determination, eventually busting out the top rope Brainbuster, a move that had longtime fans of his days absolutely losing it. That spot alone hit me right in the nostalgia and was the cherry on top of an already brilliant performance. When Sami finally overcame the odds and captured the Intercontinental title, it was the perfect feel-good moment. Gunther lost nothing in defeat. He went on to become world champion later in the year, but this match was about giving the fans what they'd been waiting for. Sami's win will go down as one of the most iconic moments in WrestleMania history, and rightfully so. Number 8, Bayley versus Io Sky, of course again from WrestleMania 40. This one's for all the underrated gems out there. Bayley versus Io Sky at WrestleMania 40 was a match that doesn't always get the attention it deserves, but it absolutely should. It was more than just a great match, it was Bayley's long-awaited WrestleMania moment. Bayley has been one of WWE's most consistent performers for years, and seeing her finally get her big stage victory was incredibly satisfying. But let's not overlook Io Sky, continues to prove she's one of the best workers in the world, no qualifiers needed. The chemistry between these two was unreal. Every reversal, counter, and near fall felt like a chess match, and they kept the audience guessing the entire time. The match wasn't just technically brilliant, it was also emotionally gripping. The damage control storyline leading up to this match gave it so much depth, and even though the result felt inevitable, there were moments where I thought, wait, what if I'm wrong? Wrestling at its best keeps you on your toes, and this match did exactly that. Io's future as a babyface looks bright heading into 2025, but this match solidified her as one of the best talents WWE has to offer. It's rare to see a match where both competitors leave looking like stars, but that's exactly what happened here. And number 7, Ludwig Kaiser versus Braun Breaker versus Sheamus, at Survivor Series. Sometimes wrestling is at its best when it's just 3 people beating the absolute hell out of each other. And that's exactly what we got from Ludwig Kaiser versus Braun Breaker versus Sheamus at Survivor Series. This triple threat for the Intercontinental title wasn't just a showcase for their talents. It was a match that proved all 3 of these guys are destined for greatness. Sheamus brought the story, his ongoing quest to capture the one championship that has eluded him his entire career. Braun Breaker brought the fire, continuing to show why he's one of WWE's brightest stars. And Ludwig Kaiser, he brought the heat as the ultimate heel, proving once again that he's one of the most underrated workers in the company. What set this match apart was the pacing. WWE has a habit of sticking to a specific triple threat formula. 2 guys in the ring while one takes a breather outside. But this match threw the playbook out the window. It was fast-paced, hard-hitting, and never let up. Sheamus didn't win, but his performance reinforced why fans love him. Meanwhile, Braun and Ludwig walked away looking like future main eventers. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw these two headlining WrestleMania someday. The match was an absolute banger, and one I keep going back to. Number 6, the Young Bucks versus Darby Allin and Sting. AEW Revolution 2024. This match wasn't just great, it was emotional. The Young Bucks versus Darby Allin and Sting in AEW Revolution 2024. It was a love letter to everything we love about tag team wrestling and a farewell to one of the all-time greats. Let's talk about Sting. The man is a legend, plain and simple. 65 years old, he's still putting on performances that most wrestlers half his age could only dream of. And then there's Darby Allin, the perfect foil to Sting's old school style. Together, they made magic against one of the best tag teams in the world, the Young Bucks. The stakes were high with the AEW tag team titles on the line, and the match delivered in every way imaginable. From Darby's reckless dives to Sting's nostalgic scorpion death lock finish. It was a roller coaster of emotions, and when Sting held up the tag titles with confetti falling all around him, it felt like the perfect send-off. This match set a new standard for how to handle a legend's retirement. It was everything it needed to be, and more. A perfect example of wrestling at its most emotional and rewarding. Number 5, we got the Casino Gauntlet match from AEW All In 2024. Casino Gauntlet match was a chaotic, unpredictable masterpiece, and easily one of the most entertaining matches of the year. What made this match so special was the sheer variety it delivered. You had the big surprises, like Nigel McGuinness making his shocking return in front of a UK crowd. For those who grew up watching Nigel tear it up in Ring of Honor, this was a moment that hit you in the feels. Then there was Ricochet's debut, and another unexpected twist that had the crowd buzzing. Add in comedy gold from Orange Cassidy and some genuinely brilliant storytelling from Christian Cage, you got a match that had a little bit of everything. Speaking of Christian Cage, I love seeing him win this match. Say what you will about him, but he's one of the most underrated performers of his generation. AEW has given him the spotlight he always deserved, and this victory felt like the cherry on top of a long overdue career resurgence. This match wasn't just entertaining, it was a perfect showcase for what AEW does best. The creativity, the unpredictability, the willingness to embrace both the serious and the absurd. It was all on full display here. I hope AEW turns the Casino Gauntlet match into an annual tradition. Because if this match is anything to go by, the concept has endless potential. Number 4, Willow Nightingale versus Chris Statlander. Nightingale versus Statlander was everything you could want in a wrestling match and more. Taking place on AEW Collision, this street fight was brutal, emotional, and brilliantly executed from start to finish. Let's start with Willow. If you don't love Willow, I don't know what to tell you. She's the heart and soul of AEW's women's division, and she has this incredible ability make every match feel important. On the other side, you got Chris, who might just be one of the most versatile performers in the business. Power moves, high flying, hardcore spots, she can do it all, and she does it all here. What sets this match apart from other street fights is the thought that went into every single spot. Nothing felt gratuitous or overdone. The thumbtack spot, in particular, was one of the most shocking moments of the year. And that's saying something, considering how many crazy things we've seen in 2024. The crowd was unglued, and for good reason. This match didn't just showcase the talents of two incredible wrestlers, it also told a story that resonated deeply. The chemistry between Willow and Chris is undeniable, and I truly believe this could be AEW's next great rivalry. If AEW is smart, they'll revisit this feud in 2025 because these two could have match after match, and it would never get old. In a year full of street fights, this one stands out as the best. Willow and Chris absolutely crushed it, and I can't wait to see what they do next. Then we have, at number 3, CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre, WWE Bad Blood 2024. Punk and McIntyre at Bad Blood 2024 was an instant classic, and one of the best Hell in a Cell matches WWE has produced in years. This match didn't just bring back the brutality that the stipulation is known for, it completely redefined what a Hell in a Cell match can be in the modern era. This wasn't supposed to be a feud, it started by accident, but it quickly became best story in wrestling in 2024. You had social media jabs, injury angles, and promos that blurred the lines between fiction and reality. By the time they stepped inside the cell, the stage was set for something unforgettable, and they delivered. This match was gritty, violent, and emotionally charged. Both men left everything in the ring by the end. Neither of them looked like the winner. Sure, Punk technically won, but he was so broken and battered that it felt like a hard-earned victory. Meanwhile, Drew McIntyre came out of this looking like a bona fide megastar. There are already rumors that WWE is planning to make him the guy in 2025. And after this match, I completely believe it. The blood, the toolbox, the attempted eye gouging, it was all here, but it never felt over the top or unnecessary. It felt real. It felt like two men who genuinely hated each other trying to settle their differences in the most brutal way possible. For me, this match saved the Hell in a Cell stipulation. It reminded us all of why the Cell used to be such a big deal. And on top of that, it gave us a feud and a match that will be remembered for years to come. Number 2, Bryan Danielson versus Swerve Strickland from AEW All In 2024. We're talking about wrestling matches that deliver on every possible level. Bryan Danielson versus Swerve Strickland at AEW All In 2024 is right up there at the top. This wasn't just a match, it was a moment and one that will stay with me forever. Let's start with Bryan Danielson. Watching him win the AEW World Championship in front of a packed Wembley Stadium was nothing short of magical. This was the culmination of an incredible career, and seeing him celebrate with his family after the match was one of the most emotional moments of the year. For someone who's followed Danielson's journey from the Indies to WWE to AEW, this was the perfect way to honor his legacy. Then there's Swerve Strickland, who had one of the best years of anyone in wrestling in 2024. This match proved that he's not just a star, he's the star of AEW's future. He didn't win, but he didn't need to. His performance spoke for itself. The way he carried himself, the way he played his role, it was masterful. The match itself was a technical masterpiece. You had brutal spots, emotional storytelling, and near falls that had the entire crowd on edge. Danielson and Swerve put on a match that felt like both a celebration of wrestling past and a glimpse into its future. This was more than just a title match. It was a passing of the torch. Danielson may have won, but Swerve left that match as the guy to watch in AEW. And before we get to number 1, we'd like to remind you to give us a thumbs up if you like the video. Hit that subscribe button down below. Of course, me your favorite matches of 2024 in the comments section below. With that, and probably no surprise, at number 1, Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 40. The main event of WrestleMania 40 was everything it needed to be and more. Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns wasn't just the best match of 2024, it was a defining moment in wrestling history. Cody's journey to this point is nothing short of inspirational. He left WWE in 2016 because he knew he could be more. He bet on himself, built a legacy outside of WWE, and returned to the company as a megastar. And at WrestleMania 40, he completed this story by finally dethroning Roman Reigns. The match itself was classic WWE at its finest. The first half was slow and methodical, with Roman doing what Roman does best. The second half, absolute chaos. Surprise appearances from Seth Rollins in his Shield gear, John Cena, The Rock, and even The Undertaker turned this into a spectacle like no other. When Cody finally hit the crossroads and pinned Roman clean in the middle of the ring, the roof came off the place. It was the perfect ending to one of the greatest title reigns of all time, and the perfect beginning to Cody's run as the face of WWE. Wrestling is all about moments, and this match delivered one of the biggest moments of the decade. And there you have it, my top 10 wrestling matches of 2024. If you're a wrestling fan, do yourself a favor and go revisit these matches. Trust me, they're worth your time. Now, if you want to support the channel, you can buy us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/cinemagold. As always, your support helps the channel grow, upgrade our equipment, bring new hosts, be able to pay them, one day take this show on the road. We'd love to be able to record stream episodes from events across the country, whether it be TV, movie premieres, Comic-Con, even wrestling events. We'd love to want to do that kind of stuff, and your support can help make that happen. Whether you give $1, $5, $10, $20, $50, $100, no matter what you give, it's always appreciated. Even the smallest amount helps us reach our goals. And with that, don't forget, you can find us on all major podcast platforms, including Good Pods, Amazon, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts from. And of course, with that, thank you so much for watching. and listening. We'll see you next time.